Alright, so in this video we're going to continue with solving proportions, except this time we're going to look at them in the context of a word problem and in the context of a table. So your goal is I can write and solve a proportion from a word problem. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're going to jump right into an example here because you actually know everything that you need to know in order to solve a proportion word problem. So, Yolanda drove 50 miles in 2 hours at a constant rate of speed. How long will it take her to drive 150 miles at the same speed? So what we need to do is we need to set up a proportion, okay? And what you're going to see as we work through these word problems is I'm going to give you a lot of hints, and then I'm going to slowly take away those hints, okay? So to start with, you're going to see that I have color-coded part of the word problem. So here I have 50 miles in one color, I have 2 hours in another color, and then I have 150 miles in that same color as the other miles. So here I've set up the proportion for you. We need to put miles on top of hours on one side, and then miles on top of hours on the other side. Now, one of those values is going to be missing, and that's the value that we're going to end up solving for, okay? So, we have 50 miles in 2 hours. So we have 50 over 2 equals. And then we have 150 miles, so that's going to go on top, over x, because it's asking us how many hours will it take her to drive 150 miles. That's our missing value. And so now we just need to solve. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to solve it down here so we have more room. So 50 over 2 equals 150 over x. So 2 times 150 is 300, and then x times 50 is 50x. So I have 50x equals 300. Okay, now I need to box the variable, divide by 50, divide by 50. These cancel, x equals 6. Now, I need to read through my questions very carefully, but first I should actually check my work. 50 over 2 equals 150 over 6. Let me check my work real quick. So 2 times 150 is 300, and then 6 times 50 is also 300. Okay, I wanted to make sure I got the right answer first. So our missing value here is going to be 6. So she can drive 150 miles in 6 hours. And that's what it's asking us to fill in here. Yolanda can drive 150 miles in 6 hours. But now it's asking us a follow-up question. Yolanda can drive blank miles each hour. Each hour is a unit rate question. So how many miles can she drive in 1 hour? So I need to find the unit rate. Well, that shouldn't be too hard. I can take either one of these and find the unit rate. And that's just going to be a separate problem. So I'll take this one right here. If she drives 50 miles in 2 hours, go ahead and divide those. She drives 25 miles in 1 hour. So she drives 25 miles each hour. All right, next problem. The Millers drove 105 miles on 4 gallons of gas. How far can they drive on 6 gallons of gas? So again, we're just going to set up a proportion, just take the numbers in the order that they are. So we have 105 miles on 4 gallons of gas equals how far can they drive on 6 gallons of gas? Well, we had gallons on the bottom last time, so I need gallons on the bottoms this time, which means I have x on the top. So I'm going to scoot down here to solve the proportion. 105 over 4 equals x over 6. So I'll go ahead and solve. So 4 times x is 4x. Let me get my calculator. 105 times 6 is 630. So then 630 equals 4x. I'm going to box my variable. Divide by 4 on both sides. So 630 divided by 4 is 157.5 equals, those cancel, x, but I'm going to flip it around. Now, even though this is a decimal, because it's not a crazy decimal that I had to round, I can still check my answer. 105 over 4 equals 157.5 over 6. So I'm still going to check my answer. So that equals 630 when I plug it into my calculator. And 105 times 6 equals 630. Always check your answer. So this was 157.5. All right, so the Millers can drive, let's fill this out, 157.5 miles on 6 gallons of gas. Now it's asking me a unit rate question again. How many miles can they drive per gallon? So I can either find it with this one or with this one. I'm just going to use this one right here. So 105 miles over 4 gallons. So when I divide that, I get, I'm going to write it over here, 26.25 miles over 1 gallon. So they can drive 26.25 miles per gallon. All right, next question. Now you'll notice I took away the color coding here for you. There are 810 calories in 3 scoops of vanilla ice cream. How many calories are in 7 scoops of vanilla ice cream? So we need to go ahead and set up a proportion, but I still helped you out and kind of showed you how to set it up a little bit here. But again, you just take it in the order that it gives you, unless it's money, and in which case you put money on top. So we have calories over scoops. So we have 810 calories over 3 scoops equals, we don't know how many calories, over 7 scoops. So let's go ahead and solve that proportion. I'm going to put it down here. So 810 over 3 equals x over 7. So 3 times x is 3x. 7 times 810 is 5,670. So 5,670 equals 3x. Box the variable. Divide by 3 on both sides. 5,670 divided by 3 is 1,890 equals, those cancel, you're left with x, but flip it around. X equals 1,890. That's a lot of calories. Makes you think twice before eating ice cream now. But let's check our answer. So 810 over 3 equals 1,890 over 7. So 3 times 1,890 is 5,670, and then 810 times 7 is also 5,670. So those check out. Alright, so this is 1,890. Alright, so there are 1,890 calories in 7 scoops of ice cream. But again, it's going to ask me for a unit rate. Each scoop has blank calories. So we need to find the unit rate. I'm just going to use this guy right here. So 810 calories over 3 scoops equals 270 calories for 1 scoop. Alright, I'm making this one a little bit harder. I'm taking more away from you. Sabrina jogged 2 miles in 0.5 hours. How far did she jog in 1.5 hours? So, all we need to do is take it in the order that we gave you. 2.5 miles, 0.5 hours. Miles over hours. And if it's miles over hours here, it's miles over hours here. Okay, so we have 2 over 0.5 equals x over 1.5. And the reason why it's x is because we know the hours, but we don't know the miles for the second one. Alright, so let's go ahead and solve that. So 2 over 0.5 equals x over 1.5. Alright, so 0.5 times x is 0.5x. 2 times 1.5 is 3. 3 equals 0.5x. Box the variable. Divide by 0.5. Divide by 0.5. 3 divided by 0.5 is 6 equals, those cancel, x equals 6. Alright, let's check our work. 2 over 0.5 equals 6 over 1.5. Let's cross multiply. 0.5 times 6 equals 3. 1.5 times 2 equals 3. So those check out. So this is going to be 6 right here. So she can jog 6 miles in 1.5 hours. She can jog blank miles per hour. So how many can she jog in 1 hour? Now check this out right here. This is interesting. So we need the denominator to be 1. But here I have it as 0.5 and here I have it as 1.5. Okay, so I'll have to take this guy and divide it. But I could also, let's see, I could do either of these. Either of these would work. Let's do this guy because we've been working with the first one for a while. Let's do this guy. So here we have 6 miles over 1.5, what is that, hours? Okay, so 6 miles divided by 1.5 hours, that's going to give us 4 miles over 1 hour. So this is 4 miles per hour. Alright, let's take a look at this problem here. 1 pair of boots costs $35. At this rate, how much will 9 pairs cost? Now this one's really tricky if you don't read it carefully, because this right here is a number, 1. So, and we have money involved. So we have price over pairs. Price over pairs. So we have 35 over 1 equals x over 9. Okay? So let's take a look at how we're going to solve this here. 35 over 1 equals x over 9, because we need to know the price for 9 pairs. So 1 times x is 1x. 9 times 35 is 315. So we have 315 equals 1x. Box the variable. Divide by 1, divide by 1, 315 equals x, but flip it around. X equals 315, but let's plug it back in. 35 over 1 equals 315 over 9. 1 times 315 is 315. 9 times 35 is also 315. So that checks out. So it's going to cost $315 for 9 pairs of boots. Each pair costs how much? Well, if you look at the problem, didn't it tell us how much one pair of boots costs? $35. That was pretty easy. All right, now let's look at a table. Okay, these tables are actually a lot easier than word problems once you learn how to do them, because the information is already sorted for you. Okay, so set up a proportion to find the missing value in the table. So here we have hours worked and dollars earned. Okay, remember, money always on top. So dollars, hours, dollars, hours. So if I have $36, how many hours was that for? 4. And then I have X dollars for 10 hours. Now all we need to do is solve. We're finding X right here. So 36 over 4 equals X over 10. 4 times X is 4X. 10 times 36 is 360. 360 equals 4X. Box the variable. Divide by 4. Divide by 4. These cancel. Bring down your X. Bring down your equals. 360 divided by 4 is 90, but flip it around. X equals 90. But let's check our answer. 36 over 4 equals 90 over 10. Let me get my calculator here. Alright, so we have 4 times 90 is going to be 360, and 36 times 10 is also going to be 360. That checks out. So this is going to be $90. So after working for how many hours? 10 hours, you earn $90. Now it's asking me for that unit rate again. Each hour you earned blank dollars. So now we need to find the unit rate. We can find it with either row. I'll just use the top row. So $36 over 4 hours. Divide that. 36 divided by 4 is going to be $9 for 1 hour. Alright, let's take a look at this one. Set up a proportion to find the missing value on the table. Now we're not dealing with money here, so it doesn't matter what goes on top, what goes on the bottom. I'll just take it in the order it gives it to me. So number of pies, and then sugar. Number of pies, and then sugar. So I have 5 over 12. And then I have x over 36. It's nice because it's already organized in the table for me. So I have 5 over 12 equals x over 36. So 12 times x is 12x. 36 times 5 is 180. 180 equals 12x. Box the variable. Divide both sides by 12. These cancel. Bring down your x. Bring down your equals. 180 divided by 12 is 15. Flip it around. X equals 15. Okay, but let's check our answer. 5 over 12 equals 15 over 36. 12 times 15 is 330. Oops, I typed that in wrong. I'm sorry. That's 180. I was going to say that doesn't make sense. 180. 36 times 5 is also 180. See, it's good to check. That checks out. So this is going to be 15. So for 15 pies, you need 36 cups of sugar. Wow, that's a lot of sugar. Okay, now our unit rate. Each pie needs blank cups of sugar, so we need to find our unit rate. So each pie needs blank cups of sugar. So find our unit rate. So that was, I'll take this one right here. 5 pies over 12. Let's just go ahead and divide that. I get a large decimal. So I can either write it as a fraction or I can write it as a rounded decimal, 0.42. Take either. Okay, now here we have a table with multiple missing boxes, okay? And so I'll show you how to do this. What you need to do is find the first missing box, and it'll help you find the next missing box and the next missing box, and so on and so forth. And the best way to do that is to sort of cover up the rest of the missing boxes like that. So if you just were to look at it like this, could you find this missing box? Yes, because you have money over weeks equals money over weeks. Okay, and so what you have here is 7 over 1 equals x over 2. And so we're going to go ahead and just solve that proportion. Okay, so we have 1 times x is 1x, 2 times 7 is 14. So we have 14 equals 1x. Box the variable, divide by 1, divide by 1. 14 equals x, x equals 14. So then we put a 14 in here. Now if I took that cover and I scooted it over a little bit, now could you use this to solve for the next one? Yes, you could. So your next one, your next proportion would be 14 over 2 equals x over 3. See, you're just taking this is equal to this right here. Okay, you're just doing little baby steps so that you can fill in each box. So now 2 times x is 2x. 3 times 14 is 42. 42 equals 2x. box the variable, divide by 2, divide by 2, 21 equals x, x equals 21. Now, all we need to do is fill in the last one. But I want to caution you, sometimes people get all excited and they say, oh, we're counting by sevens. 7, 14, 21, oh, I know the next one is 28. No, that is not always the case, because if you look at the bottom, we're not counting by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to skip around, so you need to make sure that you're doing your proportions properly. So my next proportion is 21 over 3 equals x over 9. So I'm going to go down here. So 3 times x is 3x. 21 times 9 is 189. 189 equals 3x. Box the variable, divide by 3, divide by 3. Get my calculator. $189 divided by 3 is 63 equals x, because those cancel. X equals 63. So that's 63. Alright, here's a similar table. Okay, so we're going to do this in a very similar way. We're going to take it one box at a time. So we're just going to focus on, let me highlight it for you. We're just going to focus on this box right here for right now. Okay, so our proportion is going to be 80 over 60 equals 6 over x. So 60 times 6 is 360. X times 80 is 80x. Box the variable, divide by 80, divide by 80. So x equals 4.5. Alright, so now here we have 4.5. Now we're going to focus on this box right here. So we're going to have 6 over 4. Did I do that right? I don't think I did that right. That doesn't look right to me. I need to check that. Let's see. $360. Huh. Oh, because it's 8, not 80. I just did that entire thing wrong. I wrote 80, not 8. Oh boy, I'm sorry. Ignore that entire proportion that I just did. I am so sorry. I wrote 80, not 8. I was like, 4.5 seems really small. Okay, let's try that again. 8 over 60 equals 6 over x. I am so sorry. So this is 360 equals 8x. I knew that looked weird. 8x equals 360. I am so sorry. Box the variable. Divide by 8. Divide by 8. So let's try that all again. X equals 45. That is a lot better. Alright, so now our next one is going to be 6 over 45 equals 4 over x. So now we're focused on this proportion here, okay? So 6 over 45 equals 4 over x. So we have 45 times 4, which is 180, equals 6 times x, which is 6x. So 6x equals 180. Box the variable. Divide by 6 on both sides. X equals 30. So this guy right here is going to be 30. Now we're going to focus on this last box right here. So our proportion is going to be 4 over 30 equals 2 over x. So 30 times 2 is 60. 4 times x is 4x. 4x equals 60. Box the variable. Divide by 4 on both sides. These are going to cancel. And then x equals, and then 60 divided by 4 is going to be 15. And then you've completed that table. Alright, I have a challenge problem at the end here for you. If you would like to go ahead and solve it, I'll give you 10 extra credit points. I'm not going to solve it here on YouTube. It is up to you to solve it and submit it to me by Friday. Alright, that is the end of this very, very, very long video, but very, very important video. Let me know if you have any questions, and we will do more examples in class together.